Hello and welcome to episode number 27 of Light the Eye, presented by the U of I Credit Union. I'm Scott Beatty.
And I'm Robert Rosenthal.
We're coming to you from the Armory inside the Center for Teaching and Innovation at the University of Illinois. We're grateful to them for providing us a space to bring you this podcast. And as always, please take a moment to like and subscribe. And you can reach out to us in the comments or email us at lighttheeyepodcast@gmail.com. Robert, I believe we have a first.
What's that?
I'm in short sleeves for a podcast. Temperatures are in the 60s today.
I'm wearing a Illini t-shirt.
Well, you're
just
always
like
in a t-shirt.
I do every time.
Yes.
Well, it's short sleeves. I mean, it's a beautiful day out there.
A
72 degrees.
Cheez-It Citrus Bowl shirt appearance.
Yeah,
making a rare appearance.
I don't think I've done this. I do once we get to the t-shirt era of the phase of t-shirts and the warmth. A lot of bowls. Yes. I'm in my bowl shirt era.
Era. It's not a season, it's an era.
Yes.
You mark parts of your life as eras.
That's right. You mentioned the Armory here. I have a thing that I wanted to talk about here in the intro. There is probably not a trickier driving moment in Champaign-Urbana than the intersection. I mean, I'm sure it's a lot of other intersections, but the intersection of Armory and 4th at like 5 minutes until when the students are all either changing classes or going home. It's a four-way stop, but you got 4 crosswalks, and it's impossible. I've now driven it 10 or 12 times before we're recording, and it's impossible.
It's possible if you're willing to take out a few undergrads.
Yes.
No offense,
yes.
Ella, I'm just saying.
No offense to any undergrads within the room right now, but it's such a panic moment. You got somebody in all 4 crosswalks, and then when you finally have a gap, you don't know. Then you got to switch to the crosswalk rules of they went, now I went, now it's their turn, now it's my turn. It is stressful. Is
there ever a time in your life when you've realized if I need to be there, I need to actually be there early, that you're going to show up early?
So you saying if I got here like 2:45 instead of 2:55, I'm not dealing with all the students changing classes and walking home?
At some point, does he learn?
Yes. No. 53 years old, so the obvious answer there is no. But 2, here's the other thing I had. I had a guy pulling a full Leroy Jenkins on a scooter that he just, like, we were getting close and the car in front of me was ready to go, and just guy in a scooter goes diagonal across the intersection. Like, you can't account for that. You're doing the math for 4 crosswalks, students walking both directions on both crosswalks, cars in 4 directions, 4-way stop. A diagonal scooter, that's like on the driving test or something. Like that's a curveball that no one could handle. I don't think anybody can handle it.
No, but I wouldn't trade it away for the energy that you get around campus.
You're right. You're totally right. I sit there and I watch them walking home from class, and you see people with a stressed look that says, I just failed that test. At least those are the students I identify with. And you just watch them and you miss it, man. Take me back to 1993.
Also, it's been a minute, but I had to look up who Leroy Jenkins is. We don't have to go into it, but I had no idea what that reference was.
Ella, you might be even too young for the Leroy Jenkins reference. Do you know the reference?
Not a clue.
Okay. It's a famous clip from some game where
World of Warcraft,
where they're planning to go in for a fight. And in World of Warcraft, you're on a big team fighting another big team. Everybody on their headsets at home, all playing the game together. And some guy was like, I don't have enough time for this speech. I'm just running in solo. I don't care. And he yells his name, Leroy Jenkins. And that has become synonymous with any moment where somebody is just like, you know what? I see that there's an order to this. I see that there's some organization. Forget that. I'm just going. Guy diagonally on a scooter goes. Now, here's the other thing I just noticed.
Does he sort of embody your approach?
Yes. There is a lot
to life.
Leroy Jenkins at 2:56 would be trying to get somewhere by 3 o'clock. Now, I noticed something else here. Do you know we didn't turn the light off?
Oh, gosh.
So we could turn it on? So how do we handle that? We're just going to do it live. We'll do it live right now. How do we handle it? Turn it off and then back on?
Do we just, I've been rewatching the West Wing, and President Bartlett accepts the censure, and he goes, there's not enough accountability in government these days where someone just says, I was wrong. I messed up.
So we just accept that the light has been on. We're not going to turn it off. And instead of lighting the eye and going to the intro music, we're just going to say...
we could turn it off and relight it, but we just have to accept that we were wrong. We did this wrong.
You're right. Okay, Ella...
We have to sit there in our wrongness.
Ella, keep it on Scott's camera so you don't see... Go back to Scott for a second. Here we go.
Oh, now you're trying to hide it?
No one is noticing that we're turning the light off. Now you can go back wide. Oh, look, Scott, what should we do next?
We should light the... Wait, we should tell people what we're going to talk about.
Oh, yeah, that's what the intro's for.
We've got basketball. It's called a tease.
Oh, it's called March. It's called March Madness. Postseason.
Men's hoops beat Maryland. They are the 4th seed in the Big Ten tournament. We've got that to process. Women's hoops, 2 wins for the first time ever in the Big Ten tournament. They bow out in the quarterfinals to Iowa. They await their NCAA fate next weekend. And we also have some spring sports that we need to address.
Absolutely. And you just got back at the middle of the night from a certain baseball team getting certainly swept by a certain West Coast team. So we should probably talk about that too.
Yeah, we could talk about it.
Yep. Okay. Well, what do we have to do first?
Turn off and then turn on the eye.
Let us light the eye. Come on. Let's get back. Oh, it's back.
We're going to get that fixed, right?
At some point. But remember, Blue Eye March. It is Blue Eye March. The eye is blue for March.
I meant to do that.
Oh, blue eyes.
Producer Ella Peterson is here as well. Thank you all for joining us. You did not make the trip to Maryland.
I did not.
You watched, consumed the game from the comfort of your own home, a 78-72 win. I was calling baseball at the time, so all I had out of the corner of my eye was, once again, the box score. I just was watching the stats feed.
Yep.
And it was like, oh. Sometimes you can way oversimplify things, but I just watched out of the corner of my eye. Oh, I'm not hitting threes.
Yes.
Oh, Maryland's hitting some shots.
Yep.
Oh, David Mirkovic is having another game. Anything else?
You didn't really need to watch. That's pretty much it. Let's move on to baseball. No, that's exactly right. It's funny because referencing our last episode on Wednesday, someone had said something about they couldn't watch. I put up a tweet about how it's hard to watch on TV.
Oh, yeah?
And Maisie, actually, she's not here today, but she responded saying, remember our question from Wednesday. That guy Patrick was like, I can't watch games on TV anymore. Like, it's too maddening. And so this was the first game I'd watched on TV in a month. Tyler was covering it for the site, so I'm at home. I've only watched, I think, 4 games on TV this year, so it's a rare occurrence for me. And it is, when a game is close like that and the announcers, they want to sell it. They want to keep people interested. They're they're hyping how well Maryland's playing and how this is, and this could, oh my gosh. They keep flashing the graphic of Illinois locks up a triple bye, but if they lose, this chaos. And you can tell the producer is in their ear, come on, hype it a little more, hype it a little more, hype it a little more. And it was just driving me a little insane. When the game was tied at 61 or something like that with 7 minutes to go, something like that, I'm internally panicking and melting down and mentally changing my travel plans to Chicago, since now I might have to be there Thursday if they're the 5 seed. And the guys on the announcing team and the people showing the graphics were not helping the situation for me. So shout out to that guy Patrick who asked that question last week. Patrick, I feel your pain even more right now, because that was a rough game to watch on TV.
Just remember, the television production is not just for you.
It's a good point.
The Illini fan.
It's a good point.
It's not just for the Maryland fan. It's for a broad audience.
Yes. They're trying to tell a story, and they have a narrative and this and that. I eventually went to the mute. It's the only option, really, is to just watch it silent and pace. I paced around, and then I can,
You know what? You
Yep.
know what I'm going to do?
What's that?
one day I'm going to get on a national broadcast.
Yes.
I'm going to do the play-by-play.
Yes.
And you're going to have to sit there and listen and watch. I'm going to make you, because I feel like we're friends. And
Yes.
then you're going to have to
I
sit
will
there.
absolutely do that for you.
And I'm going to hype something up.
Uh-huh.
And push some agenda on you.
Yes. Yes.
Some create drama out of nothing agenda for the.
It's such you bring up such a great point,
Just
because
saying
in
it's
my
possible
mind,
you're overreacting.
yes, in my mind, it's so personal for me when Illinois is losing, tied 61-61 with a terrible team. It's so personal. It's hard to remember what you just said, that they have advertisers and they have reasons for broadcasting to a national audience and ways to keep people involved, and none of them have to do with my feelings.
I don't think it's that nefarious. I think it's just we want to put on a good show.
Yes, and make things interesting for people. And I'm sitting there like, I know we lose the triple bye if I know this. Stop showing the graphic. I might not have the most mental stability, but
This we know.
yes, it's a no.
Welcome to Light the Eye. All right, Illinois did win 78-72. What's top of mind for you? I think I have the implications of three things. One, the Big Ten tournament next weekend. Number two, what is this for the Selection Sunday outlook this coming Sunday? And number three, the broader picture of a regular season that is now over at 24-7.
Yes.
So where do you want to start with that?
I think
Where do you want to step into the chaos?
We should start with the end of the Big Ten season, because we've talked about it, since December.
15-5.
Right. Our first episode, I believe, was right after the Ohio State game, the very first Big Ten game. So we have broken down all 20 Big Ten games here. In the end, from everything we discussed, Michigan was much better than everybody else, and they won the conference by 4 games. Like, not even close. They put up a 19-1, and all of that, like, does this keep Illinois in the Big Ten race? Now it all kind of feels silly of like, oh yeah, Michigan was way better. We saw that in the November tournament when they dominated Gonzaga and everybody else, and they're a step above everyone else in the Big Ten, and they're going to win it by 4 games, and sure they did. So
what's probably a little bit frustrating for Illinois' standpoint is they finished tied for second in the Big Ten, which is no small thing.
Yes.
At 15-5, and at any point when you can say I'm going to win 75% of my games in a power conference, that's good. Illinois was actually four losses. 4 of their 5 losses were one possession, came down to the final moment. And
tied in all 4 of those losses with 1 second remaining.
Like Michigan beating them was the only Michigan was the better team,
sure,
by far and away.
Yep.
Illinois had 4 other games. We went through it a couple episodes ago where you processed, does that make you unlucky? Does it make you?
Yep.
And I know there's some hand-wringing
Yep.
going on right now about how Illinois has fared in close games. But that's how close Illinois was to being 19-1.
Yep.
And then you would have sort of a 2 seed, a bona fide 2 seed. But make no mistake, Illinois is still a very good basketball team.
Yep. The craziest thing about all of that we just discussed is that Penn State, who finished, did they finish? I didn't look at the final standing. Did they finish 18th out of 18?
Yeah, 3-17.
Had a shot in the air to beat Michigan. How crazy is that, right?
It's basketball.
That the team that finished dead last and the team that finished first, Penn State hoisted a shot that would have beat Michigan and missed it. It's crazy that it all comes, again, the hand-wringing from yesterday, myself included, of like, is Wagler still dealing with the shoulder from UCLA, and his shot looks different and it's not as fluid. Is he injured? And then there were reports of him wearing a back brace at halftime and said afterwards that he was dealing with back spasms and all this. And
he was dealing with those earlier in the year too.
Yes. And so all of these moments and all of this stuff and all of the hand-wringing and everything else. And it's Michigan was so much better than everybody else. Significantly better. And B, They also nearly lost the last place team because basketball can sometimes just basketball.
Yeah, it's almost like the other team has players on it that know how to play the game.
Yeah, it's almost like sometimes shots fall and sometimes they don't. And then that kind of determines the outcome of games. It's weird like that.
But by Illinois finishing 2 games ahead of Purdue, they maintain their hold on most Big Ten wins for
the 2020s.
The 2020s.
So 7 seasons now.
Does that count Big Ten tournament games?
No, just
kind of regular season games.
Yep.
Nobody has won more in the conference.
Yes. If he counted Big Ten tournament games, I believe Illinois would extend the league because I think Illinois has more Big Ten tournament wins across that because they have the 2 titles. I think.
Yeah.
Does Purdue have 2 or 1? No, Purdue might have 2 as well. But point being is that, yes, I check in on the stat every year. I remember last year, final game was Purdue, and that was the subplot of that game. Like Illinois was going to finish either 11-9 or 12-8 in the Big Ten. And Purdue was much better than that, but Michigan State had already won the conference. So in that finale, that was if Illinois can win, Purdue still does not overtake them. They had tied, but Purdue would still, after all of their success in 23, 24, 25, they still would not overtake Illinois in the most wins in the Big Ten over that. And Illinois won that game. I believe KJ hit a late shot to win that game. And so they went into this season tied, and Illinois won 15, Purdue won 13.
Okay, so Illinois is in the triple bye, which means you get to start in the quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament. They will play, if it goes chalk, they'll play Wisconsin, but they can play Wisconsin, Washington, or USC. USC and Washington as a 13-12 will play each other. The winner will face Wisconsin. The winner of that will face Illinois. So quite likely that they will play Wisconsin, and then the winner of Illinois, Wisconsin, or whomever will play in the semis. If it goes chalk, Michigan. Michigan will get the winner of, Michigan could play one of 4 teams because Maryland, Oregon, and Iowa and Ohio State are all in their path that they await. So everyone presumes, but it's a tournament. Anything can happen because, like you just pointed out, a possible rematch with Michigan, and the only way the Illini would play Nebraska or Purdue or Michigan State or UCLA would be on the championship because they're on the other side of the bracket. So thoughts on that?
There's 2 ways to go for my brain, and they're opposites. Ready? One could be a revenge tour, right? Mm-hmm. You lost to Wisconsin, you beat Wisconsin. You lost to Michigan, you beat Michigan. You lost to, let's say, Michigan State comes out of the other side. You beat Michigan State, revenge, win the Big Ten tournament in Chicago. Home field advantage, home court advantage. Narrative number 2, you get to the semifinals. You lose to Michigan. You've now lost to Michigan twice in the same season. You get to the Final Four. You play Michigan. It's impossible to beat a team 3 times.
Editor's note, it's possible.
And you beat Michigan for the 3rd time. If that happens, if that were to happen, if Illinois and Michigan were to match up in the semifinals, in the Final Four, obviously I'm referencing 1989 here. Illinois destroyed Michigan twice and then lost to them in the Final Four. Michigan went on to win the title. If that were to happen, I'm going to need Josh Whitman to pull a Bo Schembechler. There's a famous quote from Schembechler. They had won their game to get to the Final Four before Illinois and Syracuse played. Schembechler, the camera's in the locker room. He's like, I want Illinois. Bring me Illinois. And Illinois beat Syracuse, got to the Final Four, and they beat them. I'm going to need Whitman to give I want Michigan, bring me Michigan from the locker room of the Elite Eight. You're just hearing the fantasies that play out of my brain. I'm just speaking them in real time here, and that's the second narrative. So either revenge tour or let's build 1989 Redux.
Well, let's play out. Does the revenge tour help your cause? How much does it help your cause, I should say? A lot of folks see Illinois as the 2 seed, a 2 seed. Mm-hmm. The most important question to you is, are they in St. Louis?
Yes.
And obviously to a lot of Illini fans for proximity. Is there anything else at stake? I don't think there's a way to play yourself into a 1 seed. And the other side of it is, if you lose, do you drop to a 3? I don't know. Iowa State has something to do with this whole thing.
Yeah. So if we look in order of the teams that might be vying for St. Louis as far as like, again, just to recap for people who aren't familiar, the committee in the top 16 seeds goes 1 through 16, and they try to place you as close to your campus as possible. They will not it used to be like the 2 regions for the Midwest. Those teams in the Midwest would go there for the first 2 rounds and then to the regional site. Now they'll put you anywhere. It doesn't matter if, it's St. Louis could be part of the West Regional, could be part of the South Regional, it doesn't matter. So what we've been monitoring all season is Iowa State, Illinois, and Purdue as the 3 highly ranked teams that are closest to St. Louis. Kansas made a little noise, but they're further down now. I think they have 8 or 9 losses and such. So I think right now, if you looked at the order, especially with Purdue losing to Wisconsin this weekend, I think it's definitely Illinois 1, Purdue, or Iowa State 2, Purdue 3.
Yeah, and that's how Joe Lunardi, who's not the only bracketologist, but he has Illinois right now as the last 2 seed,
as the 8th. Okay.
Iowa State is the first 3 seed.
Yep.
And then Nebraska, and then Alabama, and then Purdue. So Purdue's the last 3 seed right now. And so it's really more, I think, about Iowa State and maybe what Michigan State does or doesn't do. So anyway, I think everyone wants to know, can the Illini get into the St. Louis first and second round, which probably would put them in the West to go to San Diego?
Yeah, it would all depend on, they can't, Chicago is out because the committee won't put Michigan 1, Illinois 2 in the same region and have them meet in the Elite 8. And so Michigan's definitely the one in the Midwest. They could lose their opening round game to whoever and be locked into that. So that's not an issue. So Chicago's out. So yeah, but then I really do think it's open at that point. It depends on where they place. Is Florida or UConn the last 1 seed, and then where do they place Duke, and where do they place Arizona? Arizona's likely in the West, so it could be there. Could be San Jose. Is that right?
I thought it was San Diego, or maybe
I think San Diego's the first 2 rounds.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But
San Jose
is the regional.
Is the region. Okay.
It's the regional site, and then probably Duke in the East and Florida in the South, or maybe if UConn gets it, then UConn's in the East. And Duke goes south.
Yeah.
Hard to say, but those are it's probably Washington, D.C. or San Jose, or what's the third one? Houston?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of those sites for a potential Sweet 16 because stupid Michigan has Chicago.
Okay, so just to follow your logic there's 4 sites.
Yep.
And we know it's not Chicago's. So what you're saying is it's one of the other 3.
Yes. Well, I was just saying when you said like the West is likely, I don't know if there's any of those 3 that would be likely.
That's fair.
Because there's they do the thing where they try to have the number 1 seed play the number 8 2 seed. So that if Duke were to get the number 1 overall seed, then Illinois would be the 8, and they would probably send Illinois into that South region if Duke's there, or into the East if they're there, that type of thing. But then there's always that stupid, like, okay, well, we have Houston here and Arizona here, but they can't play each other because they're in the same conference, so we got to move, we got to swap Houston and we got to swap Illinois, and so that way we'll put them here and we'll put them there, and so all that stuff goes on, and suddenly, everything you thought would happen won't happen. So
plus they got to look for their storylines,
yes,
narratives to push.
Darn
those
producers.
The producers are in there. How can we get this to rematch?
Speaking of,
how can we get Illinois and Akron to meet up in the NCAA tournament?
I do have that slight fear that Illinois is a 2 and St. Louis is a 7, and they have to play in St. Louis, which, because it's not in SLU's arena, they could play at Enterprise Center. So it could happen that SLU was the 7 seed, playing a home game against Illinois in the round of 32. So, look. My brain is full of all these panic scenarios of like, they better not give us Akron and they better not give us SLU and all that stuff. So when you build up enough of those, one of them will come true.
Yes. I think there's a lot of storylines in college basketball already. It's inevitable that some crossover stories will happen. It's just how the thing works.
Yep. I think the only thing that would make me panic about St. Louis and I don't even want to put this out into the universe, is if Illinois would lose in the first round and then Purdue wins the Big Ten tournament, Iowa State wins the Big 12 tournament. If that were to happen, then I'd get a little concerned that we would be three of those. Of those three, we'd be the third team, and then we'd get shuffled off to Buffalo. But Purdue's pretty far back right now. They
Do you know when every time you've referenced Buffalo, you have used the word shuffle?
Uh-huh. What does that come from? I don't even know the reference, the shuffle off to Buffalo. Do you know what that's from?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I assumed you were. But anyway, while you're looking that up, let's bring in our producer, Ella Peterson. Hello, Ella. And I know as a producer yourself, you understand what it is to force a narrative and a story and an agenda on announcers, right?
Yeah, you guys are cracking me up over there. Because, one of my main jobs is to be the executive producer and director of the Big Ten Plus broadcast. So that's right up my alley for making up some storylines here or there. You got to make it interesting back in the control room. And so it's funny hearing the perspective of, the hardcore Illinois fan.
Yeah.
And then from the non-biased producer, I'm like, no, I need to, give Maryland some love right now.
Yes.
Illinois gets the love going into the game. How do you make it interesting? And Robert's over there freaking out at me.
Shaking his fist at the TV.
Yeah.
What do you care? I don't care about that.
Robert would like a personal broadcast to be done for him.
Yeah, I'm going to start just having straight Illinois broadcasts. Every good and bad Illinois storyline, I'm going to throw it in there.
I love that people have suggested that, you should do one of those, live, you watching the game live and record yourself. I'm like,
oh, like a Manning cast?
No. No one wants that. I would never stay on camera, ever. I'm constantly moving, pacing, sitting, standing.
Well, they have cameras that can move now.
Yes. But I'm also just, if things get tight, I go dead quiet. I wouldn't say a word for 7 minutes. I would just be sitting there, fists clenched, teeth clenched. I'd be a clench ball, and no one would want to see that.
Well, it could be part of the natural effect of the whole thing, I guess.
Yes, good point.
You could put on those meta glasses where you could just watch the game through the glasses and narrate at the same time.
It's a good point. We'll consider that. We'll bring it up
like
to
a point of view cam.
Yes.
What do you think, Ella? Could this sell?
I don't know. I think you got to have some words to go with it.
It's a good point. She's a producer. She knows that there has to be something to the show.
Again,
she'd be in my ear
it's almost
say something.
It's almost like she's wanting a good show.
We just, by the way, before we get to this, we've ruined our knowledge of musicals reputation here. We've talked music a lot. We've talked Harding band building. Shuffle Off the Buffalo is a song from 42nd Street.
Oh.
We should know this.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, you were a music educator, Scott.
Yeah,
you should have known that.
The phrase was not unfamiliar, but I didn't remember its origin.
Yes. Okay, continue, Ella. I hate to interrupt with Shuffle Off the Buffalo, but I had to bring that up.
No, so we, talked before this, Scott asking if anything I was curious about over the weekend of Illinois sports, because there was plenty to choose from.
Yep.
And I thought from the perspective of the three of us, we all are journalists in our own right. There was
2 out of 3 of us.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
In our own way, right?
Yeah.
There was a viral moment from head coach Brad Underwood after the game with a reporter that you guys know, and where he didn't love the question. But, what are your guys' thoughts? Happy to share mine. Going off that.
Let's play the clip, and then we'll talk about it.
Brad, you've struggled a little bit in some close games of late. Does this give you guys confidence because you're going to have close ones coming up?
Well, I think that's a bunch of crap. You can think what you want to think. We've pulled away in a lot of those too. So, yeah, next question. Didn't like that one very much.
Okay, well, let's talk close games here in recent time. How about that?
Okay.
Maryland, 2-possession win.
Yep.
Michigan. Nope, Michigan was not close. Excuse me. UCLA, obviously a 1-possession loss.
Yep.
Wisconsin, 1-possession loss, overtime. Michigan State, 1-possession loss, overtime. Purdue was a 2-possession win on the road. Iowa was a 2-possession win on the road. I feel like that was that a backdoor 2-possession game?
No, I mean they had cut it to 4 or 2 with about 3 minutes left, but then hit the shots and Wagler hit a 3 and held him at bay. That was a got to make your free throws. I mean, so was Nebraska, right? And I'm sure Underwood is kind of referencing those games of
Yeah.
Nebraska cuts it to 4. Illinois makes the shots, pulls away. Iowa cut it to 4. Illinois made the shots, pulled away. I'm sure that's kind of part of this. But yes, in that realm, it's 4 very close games and 4 losses.
And then the Nebraska loss.
Yep.
In overtime. I would say, yes, there are been close losses.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a handful of them in the latter part of the season.
Yep.
I don't think that says there hasn't been close wins. So
Yep.
it probably just struck a nerve
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason.
Yep. I agree with that.
I don't, I don't know that the question was. I didn't think when I heard the question, it didn't strike me as poorly asked or poorly worded.
Yeah. I mean, in all, it was a positive question, right? Like it was you've lost some close ones of late. Does this give you confidence going forward that you can win a close one? I can also see how a coach would, take offense to that. Like, the subtext is you can't win close games. And he immediately thinks of, hey, these games were close, as he mentioned there. But yeah, my thought toward it is, as I am with a lot of Brad Underwood press conferences, is there's the thing he's responding to the question about, but then there's also the message he's trying to deliver to someone, to his team, to his players, to the national conversation about Illinois, to that type of thing. He attempts to move the needle with certain answers. Everybody kind of lost their mind years ago with the sound to what do you think of Terrence Shannon's leadership, and it was very obvious to me in the moment and later that it was here's going to be my attempt at a wake-up call for a guy who should be our team leader and isn't there right now. If he sees this, if this goes viral, maybe that's something that sparks him. So I think there's some other motive out there. I can't say exactly what it was for him to, maybe he's trying to encourage his team and change the thing, but on its face, I think fair question and, interesting response. I want to know what Ella thinks. Like,
Agreed.
Student journalism, you're studying these things in class. So what do you think?
So when I first saw it, I immediately talked to my parents, and I was just like, ouch, because when you're asking those questions to the coach, you try so hard to not get that response.
Sure.
You don't want to be the reporter that goes viral on the internet. And then I think that's more what hit me off of it. And then, Robert, the more you've talked about it, the more I'm like, as a reporter, you have to be so conscious that for these head coaches, their first priority is always going to be their kids.
Yep.
Like, to him, those are his kids. And so anything he says is a message that they are going to hear. If we're hearing it, they're seeing it everywhere, all over their social media, even the small things that maybe we brush over.
Mm-hmm.
So especially the viral things. And I think that is, as you said, a clear message going into March of when he kept trying to stop saying, we found Keaton Wagler. Like, we already found him. Cool.
Yes.
Let's get over it. And
yeah.
let's ditch this narrative going into, St. Louis is coming up here.
Yeah.
Get rid of it before it becomes a thing. And that's a quick way. Because now I would never bring up Keaton Wagler being a hidden gem at this point.
Yeah. I think there's also this, I think, knowing his responses to things before, like he's been about close games. He's had this very strong view of like, sometimes games aren't lost. The other team wins it kind of thing, So I think my initial reaction to the very first time I heard this clip was that he was reacting to you've lost, like they've blown games kind of thing. And we can argue whether some of those games were blown. I mean, obviously a 23-point lead in the first half at UCLA, but in those close games, it's, hey, this team made the shot. Hey, Nebraska made the three-pointer at the buzzer. It wasn't so much somebody won or somebody, it wasn't so much one team lost as it was the other team made the play.
Well, and Ella, good. I appreciate your perspective, and I think for the true journalist, you always have to remember your job is to ask the questions, and your job is not to get a response, positive, negative, neutral. That's not something you have to own, as long as you're fair and reasonable in how you approach things. And there's many layers to what's going on for a coach in any one of those situations. could be trying to send a message to your team. It could be, whatever. They, like any of us, we're complex beings.
Sure.
What was I going to say? I was going to say, the UCLA game, because you brought that up. What's the headline from that loss? What's the thing that everyone remembers?
23-point lead.
No.
Buzzer beater.
You had 4.9 seconds, and a guy basically ran scot-free end-to-end and scored a layup.
Mm-hmm.
If you had just defended, you win the game.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't have an executed defense off that. So that's the story that most people, I think, remember.
Sure.
But you rightly bring up, no, there was a 23-point lead. There was a whole lot of contributing factors that led to that situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's the ref calls or makes a non-call in the last possession of the game, and everyone's upset. And what does the coach always say? Well, we shouldn't put ourselves in a position where the ref decides the game. You know, they shouldn't have been in a position where UCLA could just go win it with 4.9. But if Illinois had kept UCLA from scoring, everyone just talks about what a gritty road win, right?
Yep.
You found a way in spite of the fact that they gave up a big lead.
Yep.
They still held on and take your win and run home.
I know you're in Los Angeles. Did you see the clip of the final shot? This is local high school here, but the clip of the final shot of, I believe it was Unity Tutopoulos. Did you see it?
Yes, I did.
Very similar, like coast to coast. This was a much more difficult shot. The angle this kid made that shot from was crazy. Like, he had to be high off the top corner of the backboard to get it in.
But essentially a similar play. Like, just run, streak.
A bunch of players, like, thinking, like, I can't foul here, I can't foul here, I can't foul here, go straight up. And he found the angle and made the shot. Shout out to that kid from Unity.
All right, good stuff. Let's talk women's hoops for a moment, shall we?
Yes.
The Illini with wins in the Big Ten tournament, highlighted by a ranked win over Michigan State. So they avenge a loss before what looked like running out of steam against a very good Iowa squad in the quarterfinals. Iowa went on to the championship game of the Big Ten tournament, but lost to UCLA. So things are looking fairly good for Illinois to be hearing their name for the women's bracket.
Definitely. I think the whole thing now is many of the brackets have an 8 or a 9, 8 or a 9. A lot of them have an 8 in mock brackets. Can they somehow slide to a 7? Because 8 or 9 means you're going to the location of a 1 seed and trying to beat them in the second round game.
In their home,
floor.
In their home floor,
Yes.
Which is what happened last year with Texas.
Yes. If you're a 7 and a 10, maybe there's a vulnerable 2 seed out there that you can catch on their home floor and do something. But 8 or 9 game is really tough, since these first round games in the women's tournament are on that team's home floor. Really, really hard to do. So I think if you were to ask Shauna, I think she would be saying, please tell me we did enough to get to a 7 and, stay away from a team like a South Carolina trying to beat South Carolina at South Carolina or something like that.
Well, there's always, in the NCAA postseason, it's always favorable to be one of the top 16 host sites, and there's just such a huge home crowd advantage. I know in the men's bracket, you're in your own region.
Yep.
So Michigan, they're in Chicago-ish. I mean, that's a reasonable drive for, the state of Michigan for a lot of it, But imagine if Illinois is one of the top 16 and hosting.
Yeah.
You're already a good team, and then hosting. I've seen it in softball, in volleyball, in baseball.
Yep.
It's a high percentage of teams that advance because they're hosting. Well, I shouldn't say because they're hosting. It really adds.
Definitely.
They're hosting, and they've got a lot of their own fans there. But you're hosting in part because you're a good team.
And can we just put this out there right now? I mean, with basically everyone coming back, I feel like get us a top 16 next year is maybe the goal for Shauna.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, you're one of the top 30, maybe one of the top 28 teams in the country, let's say. Maybe next year you can be one of the top 16 and
this is going to be
host in Champaign.
This is going to be her third NCAA tournament in 4 seasons.
Yep.
And the one that you didn't make it in, you won the postseason tournament you were in the WBIT.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, making the tournament is going to need to turn into, okay, now we win in advance.
Yep.
Or get to that hosting spot.
Yep.
But to me, Destiny Jackson, Ciara Parchment aren't playing like freshmen anymore.
Yep.
And Barry Wallace is a star.
Yep.
And they got good pieces around. I just need one more. Feels like one more, or improve everybody in one more piece.
Gretchen Dolan.
Yeah, you're missing Gretchen Dolan.
Yep.
So
Yeah. I mean, I really do think. Yeah, obviously, it's the NIL era. It's the transfer portal era. Who knows who stays, who leaves? I get it. I know, but really does it. If they keep everything together, bring back an entire team that was, say, they do get a 7 seed, bring back a whole 7 seed team with a potential. Could Barry be a 3rd team All-American next year? You really have potential there to. How great would that be to have the first 2 rounds in Champaign, just getting a top 4 seed.
All right, when we come back, some other spring sports that you may be paying attention to or maybe not, and you need to. So we will discuss that. Baseball had a tough weekend in L.A., and men's tennis on a hot streak amongst the items we will talk about in just a moment on Like the Eye. This episode of Light the Eye is brought to you by Logic Co-working, providing a fantastic working environment for you to accomplish whatever it is that you need to accomplish, be it something for work, a project, a group project, or maybe you're doing some studying. Maybe you're a remote worker who needs a semi-permanent office, or you're a professor on campus at the U of I or Parkland who just needs a place to get away for a different environment, or you're a student who can take advantage of a student discount to use Logic for a day or two to work on studying for an exam or a paper, what have you. Logic offers fast internet, free printing. They have a kitchen, conference rooms you could use for your team projects. There's even a locker room and a shower in there. But most important, friendly and helpful staff for your working or studying needs, or if you want to host an event for a larger group. It's all available at Logic Co-working. Monthly memberships or day passes are available with student discounts as well. Check them out at the corner of Neal and St. Mary's in Champaign. Robert, personal question.
Yep.
About your home life.
Yes.
When your wife gets a new haircut, hairdo, hair coloring, do you notice it? Are you aware of it?
Really good about that. I'm really good about that. This is probably going to make it worse because I haven't mentioned
I feel like the whole time.
the lack of facial hair.
Yeah.
Was it an LA thing? You're like out there. I'm free to shave my face. How'd you do it?
No, it actually was the opposite. Look, I am not a superstitious person. But you lose 3 straight games in baseball. I mean, I'm not dumb.
Yep.
I got to do my part.
Yep.
So just trying to bring some mojo back.
After the 3rd loss is when you did it?
Yeah.
Okay. On the plane, did you let the team shave you? Or any kind of like...
Yeah. Come on over here, boys.
Yes.
Come on over to 32F and bring some clippers.
Excuse
Boy,
me.
nailed the vibe there.
Yes. Yes. Hey, guys, I know you're really down about not hitting and getting shut out twice, but...
3 times? Oh, no, twice, yeah.
Twice.
Felt like 3 times.
Yes. So tell me about it. Was it, obviously swept by USC. USC's ranked. They're good.
Yeah, and USC has right now the number 1 ERA in the nation. It's about 1.5. It's about 1.5, something like that.
Yep.
They have really good arms. And I felt like that layered with... there were opportunities, but there were just fewer of them. So when the opportunities are there, you've got to take advantage of them. The Sunday game took a 2-0 lead in the first inning, then fell behind 3-2, and then it was 5-2. Got to run back, had some more opportunities, but it wasn't happening. To me, it felt like a little bit of the Illinois-Michigan basketball game where, okay, Michigan's the better team here, and then things just kind of snowball at some point where you can come back and go, let's acknowledge what the other side is and really good with their pitching, but we need to be better in some areas too.
Yeah.
and not just go, well, what are you going to do? They pitch well, that's not quite that.
Yeah.
So I am hoping this is a little bit of the Tennessee moment from a few years ago in 2024. Went out to Tennessee, got swept, and eventually came back and said, let's put this together.
Yeah.
And let's be something better than,
Sure.
but let's be better and be what we can be.
Yep.
So I think it kind of always exposes you. USC also, they just made everything hard. Not only hitting, but they just put a lot of pressure on you as a team. They're well coached.
Yeah.
I don't know that their offense is going to overpower people,
Yeah.
but when you have really good arms,
Yep.
you can do that.
It's funny that, obviously you know that I go to Idaho a lot because my son lives out there.
Mm-hmm.
His neighbor across the street, former USC pitcher. And so the guy's always wearing a USC baseball shirt, this and that. I'll say hi to him when I'm out there. It's weird for him to, like, his team is now, he's following the scores and following online, and they're at Rutgers or they're at Minnesota or something like that, So it's strange for him. But he has always said, like, he has this certain pride in USC pitching. And I think I understand now, next time I see him, I'm going to be like, yeah, I get it. I get it. Youth baseball is huge out there in the great expanses of Los Angeles, and they play year round. And how can you not, if you're USC, find 3 excellent arms for every season, for every series? It just seems like it would be one of the easier recruiting things to say, like, all right, we can do this. We can find 3 great high school pitchers every year, and then we got 12 of them on our roster, and we're set. So, yeah, really tough to compete with that in the Midwest with snow on the ground and that type of thing when you've got so much to choose from for UCLA and USC.
Yeah. And it's funny. I even went to dinner, and I'm sitting next to somebody who starts saying, yeah, my son pitched with so-and-so. Right here, like, knew all about it.
Sure.
Random spot. There was no way I say, well, I'm going to be sitting next to somebody who's,
Yep.
but they know their college baseball there. The UCLA USC basketball game was on.
Yeah.
On that was Saturday night, And so I even put on Twitter, I took a picture of a fan at the USC game who's holding a license plate that he's wearing as a necklace, and it just says H8 Bruin, hate Bruin.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm thinking, they might be in your head a little bit there.
Yes.
Are you a USC fan, or are you just like...
Yes. And, I mean, look, they got, Fullerton's right there too, right? Like, so, those two might not even be the top, Southern California baseball program. Maybe Cal State Fullerton's
they
even
are
better.
Well, UCLA's number 1. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, like, over the last 20 years.
Oh, yeah. I'd have to.
know.
I mean, yeah, USC went through a valley, but they are...
Yep.
They're back.
Yep.
They're back. I mean, and they are still... They haven't won it since the 90s. They're still the team with the most national championships in baseball. 12.
They still are?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
It's been a long time.
Yeah, that's what I think we talked about that when we did the other thing. From my trip to the 2 basketball games out there, just really surprising how much they lean into other sports. Obviously, as they should, if they're winning that many titles and this and that. But, the biggest sign, the biggest thing is the end of the USC basketball arena talks about their national championships in all the sports. And they don't have any in basketball, but their basketball arena says we have 133 national championship teams over, all the sports. And
Well, what was
that's
the
how it works
Pac-10,
out
the
there.
Pac-12, Conference of Champions?
Yeah. I mean, and look, like last year was in the spring. We talked about this too. Golf loses to UCLA by a stroke at the Big Ten Championship. Illinois won 13 of those. It's going to be a little harder now. Tennis, Ohio State had won, 19 in a row or whatever. They lose to UCLA in the final. It's just
UCLA women's basketball just won the regular season. Or I'm sorry, the Big Ten tournament and the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get my numbers wrong, but I think Oregon won something like 7 Big Ten titles last year. Look, those schools have always invested in the non-revenue / Olympic. Now, women's basketball is not really in a non-revenue category anymore. It's a higher profile, but I'm just talking about for for the sake of this conversation, not football or men's basketball.
Yep.
They've invested huge, and they're warm weather environments.
Yep.
Even Seattle's pretty temperate in the winter, so you can get your pick of athletes out there. And it's just different for the traditional Big Ten legacy schools to compete in those sports. They'll have to continue to invest in ways.
Yep.
But obviously, with the landscape right now, with football and NIL and revenue sharing and what have you.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that leads straight into what I wanted to talk about with Illini tennis. I think ranked 24 coming into the indoor season and then fell out of the rankings. But if people haven't been paying attention, Illini tennis is now up to 11th in the rankings. And they had a good weekend a couple weeks ago. They beat, I believe it was number 8 Baylor and number 6 TCU were the 2 wins. And a lot of this is being done by the freshmen. So I just wanted to bring it up that I was looking into this today because for something I'm writing, and this freshman class for tennis is something people need to be paying attention to. It was ranked number 2 by that Tennis Recruiting Network website. I believe Vanderbilt was 1, Illinois was 2. And that ranking came out in May before in June. Illinois added its best recruit, which was Gabriel Debreu. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. He is a French player. His brother was here. I believe it's Matisse Debreu was here for the last 3 years, and he was added. And it's a very interesting thing because, and I didn't really know this, I knew they had added a superstar in the summer. The bio even on the Illinois website says one of the top tennis players to ever play, or one of the top recruits to ever choose to play, top juniors to ever choose to play college. In other words, this is a kid who was, see if I can put this into context for people. He had won the Junior French Open in 2022 when he was like 16 years old. He moved to professional ranks. He had won 2 Challenger Series tournaments. He was ranked 233rd in the world, which is above most of the Illini tennis players when they graduate and go into, you're trying to get into the top 250 to get into certain tournaments and all this stuff. He had reached that level. And I also found a podcast episode that covers like junior and college tennis that these people were talking about him coming to Illinois and another guy going to Ohio State, because it's the first instance of kids, let's just call it a Yakuchonis kind of thing. Let's call it had been playing professionally in Europe and because of the new rules decided to play in college because there's NIL. So this whole podcast episode I watched was them talking about like, hold on a second. Guys, we all played college tennis. We know what this was. We knew there were certain guys that were so good, they just would skip college. Like, it's just, you're so good in Europe, there's no reason to go to the States and play tennis in college. Let's just move on. And, you're going to be, if you're winning Challenger Series events, you're going to move up. You're going to, get berths into bigger tournaments. And if you're in the top 250. And these 2 guys decided to come to Illinois and come to Ohio State as, like, essentially professionals like this. So this is part of that debate, the guy who went to Alabama to play basketball, right? And the judge had to do an order to say, like, he can't play. No, he's a professional. He's out of eligibility, that type of thing. All these debates you hear about, like, well, that guy left college, but he wasn't drafted. Can he go back and play football somewhere? Can he go back and play basketball? All that debate. On the tennis side of things, that's happening as well. And one of them is playing at Illinois. He's really good. He's all the way up to 26th in the ITA rankings as a true freshman. He's one of the top juniors in the world. After he won that French Open, he was ranked as the number 1 junior in the world. Like, this is I had no idea until today. I knew they had landed a good recruit over the summer. Bread Dancer brought in maybe the best recruit since Kevin Anderson this summer. And he's playing right now and is really, really good. Now, how long does people like that stick around? Will there be one and done now kind of thing? I don't know. But I am fascinated by the fact that the best future professional on campus is probably Keaton Wagler, obviously, but might be Gabriel Debreu. This kid is I'm going to make it to a tennis tournament, because when I'm watching the French Open in 5 years and he's like the 14 seed or something like that, I'm going to probably want to be able to say I saw him play at Illinois. That's what I discovered today, and that's my long thing on Illinois tennis is they added him and 3 other great freshmen and really are good and are probably a top 10 team again.
Well, the Illini have, on the men's side, a couple of home matches at Atkins on March 20th and 22nd against Michigan and Michigan State.
There you go. I mean, this is my revelation of March of wait. There are college tennis podcasts doing episodes of how is a kid like this playing in college? And now I'm at this whoa, if the kid wins a major someday, I'm going to want to be able to say, yeah, I saw him at Illinois.
All right, that's going to do it for our episode today of Light the Eye. We appreciate the U of I Community Credit Union as our title sponsor. Thank you also to Logic Co-working for joining us. Ella Peterson's been our producer today. For Robert Rosenthal, I'm Scott Beatty. We're going to talk again really soon. We hope you can join us again when we possibly light the eye. And
maybe I should just leave it on now, that since it was on when we got off. Should we? You know what? People who are listening on just the podcast are like, what are they talking about? Well, there's a big glowing eye behind me, and it's blue, and it's about to go dark.
See ya.